Hello, beautiful ones. I'm Cindy, an astrologer, a medium, and a guide here to help you remember your soul's truth through the stars. And here's the thing you don't need to know a lot about astrology to understand today's message. So I'm going to walk you through everything step by step so you can see exactly how this lunar eclipse is shaping your life, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. Because this isn't just another full moon. On September 7th, the moon right here is going to be at 15 degrees Pisces, and it's going to align with this north node at 18 degrees Pisces. You see that? That, my beautiful one, is a karmic doorway. And what it's doing is pulling us forward into destiny. So this eclipse is not an isolated event. It's the middle chapter in the three-part story the universe is telling you this month. And that began with the Virgo new moon at 0 degrees on August 23rd. And I will leave that video up here so you can go back and watch it. What that Virgo new moon was about was planting the seeds of the new order, okay? Because it was happening in Virgo over here. That's opposite of the Pisces, okay? So now at this Pisces, that was at 0 degree. That's a really important start, clean slate degree, right? So now at this Pisces lunar eclipse, we're being asked to release illusions and step into the spiritual truth. And in just 2 weeks, we are going to have the solar eclipse at that 29 degree Virgo right here. And that will bring closure and rebirth. So if you felt like something in your life is breaking down, or it's dissolving, or it's demanding to be surrendered, that's not your imagination. That's true. This Pisces eclipse is the purge before the rebirth, the karmic release before the new beginning. And in the next few minutes, I'll show you what this means for the world, for your sign specifically, and for you. So let's talk a little bit about what this eclipse is. So a lunar eclipse, you can think of this as a full moon, and the full moon happens when the sun and the moon are directly opposite, right? You can think of this as eclipses as a full moon on steroids, okay? Now, the shadow of the earth falls across the moon, and we see symbolically what has been hidden in the shadows, okay? That's what happens in a lunar eclipse. All right. In Pisces, this is a little different because in Pisces, it's near the north node. So this eclipse pulls you forward into a truer version of yourself, while what doesn't belong naturally dissolves. Okay. So if it doesn't belong, it's no longer of service to you, then it's got to go. Okay. This eclipse is about dissolving illusions, false identities, the martyrism roles, and the unhealthy attachments. It is not asking you politely either. It's pulling you, okay? So it is showing you what must go. That's what we'll be coming about. Because you, my beautiful one, cannot carry the weight of the old into the new foundation of Virgo. Virgo wants to build, okay? And here's something you need to know, beautiful ones. Eclipse energy doesn't just flicker out the next day, okay? It unfolds over 4 to 6 months, sometimes longer, as the story ripples through your life, okay? So what begins to shift at the Pisces eclipse will continue reshaping you through the end of the year and even into early 2026. So let's talk about this Virgo, Pisces, Virgo arc story that's going on, all right? So, beautiful ones, this eclipse isn't random. It's part of a sacred trilogy the sky is weaving this month for us, okay? It started with that new moon in Virgo at 0 degrees, and 0 degrees is a very important degree, okay? Sorry, at 0 degree here. It's a very important degree. And what 0 degree Virgo was doing was that was the seed moment. You can think of it like the clean slate calling in new order, new routines, and new healing structures for you, for all of us. Okay. Then we're at this lunar eclipse in Pisces at 15 degrees. So 0 degrees, 15 degrees, and then we're going to go 29 degrees. Okay. So at 15 degrees here on September 7th, this is the destiny pivot near the North Node. Okay. The North Node is really important. This is like a portal, right? So this is a culmination that pulls you towards the Piscean themes. And those themes are like faith, compassion, soul alignment. And as it's pulling you towards those Piscean themes, it's pulling you away from what no longer fits. Okay. Then we're going to have this solar eclipse at the end of the month in Virgo, again at 29 degrees. 29 degree is an anaretic degree. It's a really important degree, like 0 is. Okay. And what this is doing is the closure and reset, because it's also going to be near this south node, again, a portal, right? And what this is going to be doing is releasing the over control or perfectionism that you have so the new foundation can take root. And I will be doing a video on the solar eclipse as well. All right, so now that we kind of got a backstory going, right? Let's talk about what's going to be going on this day. And it's not just this day, but these are like a lot of the pivot points, okay? So now let's look at the sky itself, the bigger picture on this day, beautiful ones, because every planet is adding its own note to this eclipse story, okay? So we're going to go over what these planets are doing on that day and how they could be affecting you, okay? So the moon at 15 degrees is going to conjunct the North Node, and all this is in Pisces, right? And conjunct just means they're having a close conversation. Again, this is a portal. This is, you're being pulled into the future direction, okay? So this is not just a release. This is destiny pulling you forward, okay? The moon is, it opens a doorway into the Piscean truth. The Piscean truth of faith, of compassion, of spiritual surrender. So whatever dissolves here is making room for your soul's next chapter. All right. Then we have the sun over here at 15 degrees opposite in Virgo, with Mercury at 10 degrees Virgo and the south node at 18 degrees Virgo. This just means they're having a close conversation, and there's some pulling going on here too, right? Okay. So the Virgo shadow is what's going to be shown. So perfectionism, over control, analysis that becomes paralysis, analysis becomes paralysis, right? Is what we are releasing. And Mercury's presence makes the mind part of this karmic clearing. Okay. The south node says this way no longer works. Okay. What used to work is no longer going to work. That's what this is about, this part. It's going to be showing the shadow. All right. It's going to be bringing it up to you, to all of us. Okay. Now, then we have Jupiter and Cancer over here. This is Jupiter. This is Cancer. Okay. So Jupiter and Cancer, Jupiter blesses this moment, because it's going to trine it's got a trine to the moon. See this trine right here? To the moon, and a sextile to the sun. Okay. And to Mercury over here. All right. So this is expansion, because Jupiter expands everything, makes it really prominent. All right. So this is expansion through release, through nurturing after surrender. Okay. Jupiter promises when you let go, you will be held. You're not going to fall on your face. You will be held. That's what this aspect is saying. Okay. That's the conversation they're having with you. All right. Then we have Saturn, and it's at the 29 degree, but it's retrograde. Okay. So the final karmic sweep at the end of the zodiac. So not only is it at an anaretic degree, and we've talked about this if you've seen it before, but it's at the last sign of the astrological wheel, right? So there is karmic ending going on, like deep endings going on. Okay. So This is the final karmic sweep at the very end of the zodiac at 29 degrees, right? This isn't just about today. It's about closing out a cycle that's been in motion for nearly 3 decades. So I want each of you to think back, if you're old enough, to think back to the mid 90s, right? That's the last time that Saturn was in Pisces. That's the last time he was around here. Okay. So patterns that begin then may surface now in these next couple months. And this is just so that you can release. Saturn says the lesson is complete. Stop carrying this forward. You don't need to carry it anymore. That's what Saturn is trying to say in this retrograde at the end. Okay. Then we have Mars. And Mars is at 20-degree Libra. Okay, so Mars brings this action through relationships, balance, and justice. So it urges courage and partnership and honesty in the mirror of the other. So that means your partners, any type of relationship. It's working on the balance between that and the justice between that. Okay, so if you've been avoiding hard conversations, Mars is going to press them at this time. Okay, he definitely is going to press them at this time. Okay, then we have Venus, right? And Venus is at Leo at 15 degrees. Okay, now Venus, and I have a whole Venus series. I'll put it up here so that you can go watch it, so that you can reclaim your Venus magnetism. So Venus lights up the heart center, your heart center. So at this eclipse, she's asking, do your love, your values, and your self-worth shine from truth? Or are you still dimming your light to fit in an old story? That's what she's going to be asking. All right. Now, then we have Uranus, Uranus retrograde. Okay. And that's in Gemini. Uranus just went in there, but now he's going to retrograde back. But for on this day, he's retrograde at 1 degree. Now, you guys know, or if you don't, Uranus is the great awakener. Okay. His job is to help you feel freedom. Okay. Help you understand your freedom. Okay. So the great awakener, again, has just stepped into Gemini. And this is going to this is beginning already a 7-year transit. So Uranus will be here for 7 years. Okay. And this 7-year transit, this is the transit that will revolutionize how we think, how we speak, and how we connect. And retrograde at the 1st degree, Uranus is going to be bringing up shocks and revelations and truth bombs that are going to shift your mental landscape. Okay. This is lightning in the night sky. Think of it as cracking the illusion, right? Cracking the illusion open so that freedom can rush in, right? Again, that's Uranus's job. So if you feel bound, if you feel like you are not free, it is going to crack it open. That is what Uranus does. Okay. Now, also, we have Neptune over here, and Neptune is retrograde as well. And where Saturn is at the end of that karmic cycle, Neptune is right here at the beginning. Okay. But she's retrograde. So Neptune has only just entered Aries, right? For the first time in over 150 years. And she's retrograde at 1 degree. So she's whispering of a new spiritual identity being born. And we have been working on this. I have several, we're doing it with my tarot. I have several things to help us incorporate our identity. Well, first of all, who are we? Who are we trying to be? Who do we want to be? Who do we realize we are? And then really anchor that, right? So, but because she's in retrograde and she's only at 1 degree, I mean, we've got like a decade and more to be in this house, right? So the fog isn't clear yet, but you may already feel the stirring of who you are becoming. You may like get glimpses, right? It's not clear yet though. So Neptune right here on this day is saying the dream is alive, even if you can't yet name it. This is a collective initiation into living spiritually through action and identity. Okay. For 14 years, we had to discover and awaken ourselves right here, where she was in Pisces for 14 years. We had to discover that we were spirit and body, right? We had to like open ourselves up to that. Society had to open to that and understand, right? But now we understand. Now we're trying to incorporate and figure out who we are, so you can get sense of who you are, right? And this is all happening. Again, this is not a one-day thing, but this is all happening on this day too. Okay. Then, last but not least, y'all know I work a lot with Pluto, and Pluto is over here retrograde at 1 degree Aquarius. So do you see all these 1 degree, 1 degree, 29 degree? They're all like talking to each other. And these outer planets are societal, deep underlying things that are going on. Okay. So beneath it all, we've got Pluto, and you can think of him as the hum of that bass note under us, like in our society. Okay. This is the great transformer. The great transformer has just entered Pisces. Okay. He will be in here for 19 years now, maybe 19 and a half years. He just entered Aquarius, beginning a transit that will redefine our collective systems, our technology, our truth, and our power. Okay. I have a whole series. I will put it up here so you can start watching like I would watch every house. Okay. The world itself is in a metamorphosis. Okay. That's all of us. That's our whole society. I mean, we've already been introduced to, AI and the way we're doing things differently. And this is just going to progress. This is just the beginning. Okay. So this is revolution at the roots of society, and it is unfolding step by step. Okay. So you see, beautiful ones, this eclipse is not soft astrology. It's decisive, it is karmic, and it is liberating. So now that we've got a backstory a little bit, and now that we've got the bigger picture of all the other planets that are going to be talking, and all of the other, and the energies themselves, and how they're going to be communicating, and the frequencies that they're going to be, let's talk a little bit about the collective themes, right? So what does this eclipse mean for all of us? All right, beautiful ones. What is the story the collective is moving through? This is what we want to know, right? So at the heart of it, this Pisces lunar eclipse, in its conjunct the North Node, says we are being pulled into surrender, into compassion, and into soul alignment. But first, the Virgo South Node insists that we release the shadows of over-control, of perfectionism, and analysis that pretends to keep us safe. I used to call that busybody work, but same thing. Like, I'm doing everything but what I should be doing, right? So, in the collective, you're going to see this out there in the world, right? In our society. This could look like illusions dissolving. We're already seeing some of that, but it's going to be prominent for the next 4 to 6 months. Okay. So illusions dissolving, false saviors. There's no more hierarchy of the gurus and the blah, blah, blah. And I got to work really hard to get to this information. Information's everywhere. Right. The illusions are going to be dissolving about false saviors, about false systems, about false narratives. False narratives can no longer, all of these things can no longer hold. Okay. Pisces clears the fog, even if the truth feels uncomfortable. All right. So you could also see in the next 4 to 6 months, right? And even into 2026, right? The endings to martyrism and sacrifice, right? The old patterns of carrying everyone else's pain as your own, that's finished. We're not doing that anymore. Okay. We are shifting from victimhood to sovereignty, from self-sacrifice to compassion with boundaries. Okay. Just because you have compassion with boundaries does not mean that you do not care or love. Okay, we are going to be seeing that and learning that. We have been learning that, right? This could also look like truth and clarity rising. So Virgo reminds us that the truth, spirituality, is not escapism. True spirituality is not escapism, all right? It's embodiment. It's how you live. It's how you serve and how you heal in the everyday, okay? It's not about let me go on the mountaintop, let me just meditate and escape from everything, and let me go into these other realms and have a nice time, right? That's not what you came here to do. And we are going to see the truth and clarity of that, all right? Now, it could also look like a karmic doorway opening with Uranus, remember Uranus, right here, and Neptune, sorry, Neptune right here, and Pluto. These are big energies, each at 1 degree of new signs. They just moved into these new signs. The world, all of us, is stepping into a brand new chapter of thought, identity, and collective power. Understanding that we are not alone, we can do it together. We are so powerful together. Okay? This eclipse is not just about you, it's about all of us. And that's what it's going to show you. Okay? And remember, eclipse energy unfolds for 4 to 6 months. So what dissolves at this eclipse will ripple out through the end of the year and into early 2026. So if you notice systems or roles or relationships crumbling in the weeks to come, don't mistake it for chaos. Okay? Don't be thinking, oh my God, the world's just so crazy. It's not. It's not. It's crumbling so that we can put in the new. Okay? It's the universe, think of it this way. The universe sweeping away what you cannot, that means you, me, all of us cannot carry forward. Not to the life that we want, not to the society that we see. We can't carry this forward. All right, now that we got this backstory, now that we kind of understand what we're going to maybe be seeing in the world and in our society and how it's pulling us as well, let's talk a little bit about how each of each of the signs are affected. Okay, and I want to thank you for sticking with me so far. So, let's talk about how each of the signs are affected. All right, so let's talk about how this eclipse is going to show up. All right. I'm going to start with the mutable signs because it is in Pisces and Virgo. Okay. So mutable signs are if you're a Pisces, if you're a Virgo, if you're a Gemini, if you're a Sagittarius. Okay. Especially if you're ascending Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, or Sagittarius. But your sun and moon can be affected as well if you're one of these sun or moons. Okay. So if you're a mutable sign, you're standing at the crossroads. All right. So Pisces, this eclipse is yours. With the moon and the north node in your sign, it's destiny pulling. I mean, it is pulling you forward into this portal. Okay. So your very sense of self is being rewritten. Old delusions, old identities, even old dreams that no longer fit. Those are all dissolving. So what remains though is going to be the truth of your soul. All right. It's just going to help you take out all this noise. Okay. So you're being pulled forward. All right. Now, Virgo, for you, the sun in the south node brings release. So the perfectionism, the over control, the relentless pressure to get it right and get it finished. Right. All of that, that's done. That is not who you are. That is who you were. That is no longer necessary. So this eclipse for you is going to be like a liberation, right? From being the fixer. You no longer have to be the fixer. You can be loved for just being you. You don't always have to make it right and nice for everybody, right? So the call now is to embody service through clarity and compassion, not sacrifice. If you are, because it is your natural, beautiful way, right, to do this, if you are giving service because you feel sacrifice, because you have to sacrifice something, if you want to be of service, but you are sacrificing something, right? That is not the way to go, right? And that you should be, you're going to be at the end of this in a place where when you're of service and you have compassion, you will have the clarity. You won't be doing it because you're sacrificing something. You'll be doing it because you want to and it's who you are. Okay? That's the big thing that's coming for this next 4 months for you. And some of you, I know because I mean, you're my clients, right? Or you're my friend. You've already been working on this. So this isn't going to be a big release for some of you, especially if you know me and you've been working through this stuff. Okay. So now, my little Geminis, Gemini, Jupiter, and Uranus. So Jupiter and Uranus in the air signs are stirring your mind. All right. For you, the eclipse reveals the gap between truth and story, between chatter and clarity. Old narratives will not hold anymore. Okay. I'm sorry, but that's just going to be, I mean, that's going to be coming about. It's just old narratives are not, you're going to have to be very clear and very truthful to yourself. Okay. You, my beautiful little Gemmies, are being asked to align your words with your soul. All right. Now, Sagittarius. These are all mutable signs. For you, this eclipse highlights the direction and the meaning. Are you listening, Sag? The direction and the meaning. Okay. The fog clears around your path. It's going to begin to clear up. I know that you guys have been like trying things and you're like testing everything out, right? It's like going in all different directions. All right. Well, this is the time that's going to start becoming clear for you. Okay. So the fog is clears around your path. No more scattered energy into 100 directions. All right. Spirit is narrowing the arrow for you, asking you to focus, to align your fire with one true aim. Okay? This is all going to get clear for you. All right? So for the mutable signs, this is the loudspeaker moment. All right? The karmic crossroads. You will feel the loudest release and you'll feel it the most being pulled forward. Okay? Now, let's go to our cardinal signs. So, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Those are cardinal signs. Okay. You guys are building, you're going to be the bridge builders here. Okay. So Aries, you've had a lot going on, Aries. All right. And in this lunar eclipse with Neptune at 1 degree retrograde right here in your sign, a new dream of identity is stirring. This eclipse may feel like a pause, maybe even a fog, but it's the whisper of who you're becoming. Okay. You are trying to anchor. You can kind of sense it of who you are, who you want to become more of. And it's going to be whispering. All right. And it's going to start clearing up. Not now, but it's going to start clearing up for you. Okay. Now, Cancer, you've had a lot going on too. Jupiter is in your sign and it is blessing you. Okay, so you of all of them are going to be blessed. This eclipse brings emotional release, but also expansion. Okay, so you are supported as you shift roles in your family, in your home, or your roots. Okay, but you will be blessed here, and it will be clear for you. Okay, it's almost like your heart is finally healing and getting ready for this next step. Okay. All right. Libra. Where's Libra? Libra. Mars is in your sign. Okay. So Mars in your sign demands balance in relationships. And this eclipse may surface conflicts or hard conversations. Okay. But they're clearing the path for fairness and truth. Now, let me say this. If you've been watching me and you're a Libra and you have been doing the practices, the somatics, the affirmations, the journaling, all of the stuff from all of the other things, this is not going to be as hard as you think. You're ready. You're ready. We've all been preparing. Okay. So, but if you haven't, I just want to let you know not to be afraid. Don't be afraid. This conflict and these hard conversations, it's so that they clear the path because you do want to walk with fairness and truth, right? So that's what's going to be coming about for you for the next 4 to 6 months. Okay. Now, Capricorn, my beautiful Cappies, who have been through like a lot because Pluto just came out of, being in your sign for 16 years, right? Yeah, 16 years. So I'm sorry. So Capricorn, for you, this eclipse shows up in your career and your calling. Remember, Capricorn, Pluto came in here and decimated everything, like everything to your foundation, right? So you are rebuilding your foundation, you're rebuilding your identity, you're rebuilding how you do things, right? So in this eclipse is here to help you. It's gonna like, all right, it's time to let go of that. That doesn't, you don't need to do that anymore. That's what you used to do. Okay, we're past that. That's what it's gonna start showing you, right? But you're gonna get these opportunities. Okay, so for you, this eclipse shows up in your career and your calling. So old roles may fall away. Authority you carried may shift, right? If it's not for you, it's going to go away from you. Okay. This is karmic redirection towards your authenticity. Okay. So that's what's going to be at play here, your authenticity. All right. So the cardinal signs, all of you cardinal signs, may not feel the eclipse as loudly as the mutable, but for you, it's about you pivoting in your identity, in your home, in your relationships, in your career. Okay. Now, let's talk to the fixed side. So if you are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, then you are a fixed sign. Okay. If your sun, moon, or especially if you're rising, because your rising is you, right? But you identify a lot with your sun and your moon. But your rising, you're going to feel it more. Okay. So if your rising is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, you are asked to adjust your foundations. You guys have been building new foundations. Now it's time to adjust those. Okay. So Taurus, my beautiful Taurus, Uranus is watching from Gemini, right? So he's right here. He was in here for 7 years. We had to go through this whole 7-year Uranus thing, right? And he's going to be nudging your stability. Okay. It's going to be like, are you sure you want it this way? Are you sure you want it this way? So for you, this eclipse, because you have habits and you don't like to change a lot, though you have had to for the last 7 to 8 years, right? So this eclipse may bring sudden changes in finances, in values, or in possessions. Now that can go either way, either a loss or a gain. So it depends on where you are in your path. Okay. And, I'd have to look at your chart individually to know that. But these things are going to have sudden changes. Okay. So, Leo, where's my Leos? So, Leo, beautiful Leo, Venus in your sign. Look at you're blessed right now. You have Venus in your sign, right? But are you using Venus as a magnet, or are you trying to go after something? Because that's not how Venus works. Venus is a magnet. Okay. Venus in your sign highlights the heart, and you have the most beautiful heart. Okay. For you, the eclipse is going to illuminate what or who you truly value. So those themes are going to come up, and whether you're dimming your light for someone else's comfort. Okay, so those themes are going to be coming up for you in the next 4 to 6 months. Now, Scorpio, my gorgeous Scorpio, the eclipse stirs the inner depths, which you're good at. I mean, this is where you shine. Okay, so old wounds around power could be coming up. Old wounds around intimacy could be coming up. Old wounds around control may surface. And this, my beautiful Scorpio, that you have been working on for the last 5-6 years, right? This is your chance to release the shadow and reclaim your strength. Now, you are a beautiful, deep, deep sign, and you can do this. I know you can do this. You will not be afraid. But think of it as now you get to release all that bad stuff. Now you get to release all that stuff that's holding you down. Okay. And reclaim your strength. Remember who you are, because you are powerful. All right. Now, my wonderful Aquarians, Pluto at 1 degree right here, retrograde of your sign, has from the beginning is rewriting your story. That's what you've been working on. Who I thought I was, who I was for a while, I'm no longer. Like, you have been coming to that. I know, because I'm an Aquarius ascending. Okay. So for you, the eclipse may bring endings in the collective roles that you have, in the friendships that you have, or in the communities that you have. And remember, do not be afraid. This is all part of your larger transformation. Okay, because by the time Pluto gets to the 29 degree, you're going to be such a different person. It's not even going to be funny. Okay, so the fixed signs won't feel the eclipse as directly as the mutable signs, right? But for you, it's about adjusting the deeper structure of your life. Okay, the changes may be subtle, but they will be lasting. Okay, this is where you're just tweaking. All that big stuff is already, you've been doing that for a while. Okay, these are just little subtle tweaks that you have to go through. All right, and that will be happening for you for the next 4 to 6 months. Okay, now, all of you fixed signs, I can tell you this: the sooner you see it, the sooner you adjust, the sooner it will happen, and then you move forward. Okay, because as a fixed sign, we can get stuck in overthinking and trying to overbe. Okay, so the sooner you do it, the sooner it'll be done. That's the best advice I can give you as a fixed sign. Okay. All right. Now that we understand eclipses, now that we understand what's going on with these energies, now that we understand what could be possibly going up in society, going on out there, going on with us, going on with our relationships, let's ground this stuff. Let's incorporate this energy, because it is here for our benefit. Okay, this is where I differ from everybody else. I'm going to give you some steps to take, rituals, somatic stuff that you can really embody this. Okay, this energy, these energies. Okay, so beautiful ones, let's bring this eclipse energy into your own hands. You have the power. Okay, all eclipses, they don't just mark events in the sky, they open portals in our lives. And because this Pisces lunar eclipse is conjunct this north node is your destiny, right? So because it conjuncts the north node, it's asking you to step forward into a truer version of yourself. Okay, so here are a few ways you can work with this energy, and this will be very quickly. You can do it or not. Okay, I can only give you the tools. It is up to you to do your work. Okay, you have free will. Everybody does here, right? So very quickly, let's do a reflecting in a journal. So I want you to sit down in a quiet, nice, beautiful space, whatever feels safe for you. Okay, and then I want you to ask yourself, what story began at the Virgo new moon on August 23rd? Okay, did you have any new beginnings? Have you had any new beginnings yet? I mean, we're just at the 28th when I release this, but have you had any new beginnings? And if not, don't worry, they're coming. Okay, so also, what illusions, escapes, or burdens am I still carrying that spirit is asking me, that my higher self is asking me to let go of? Okay, what illusions? What illusions am I still carrying? What ways do I still escape that I don't need to anymore because it's just a habit? Okay, or what burdens? What burdens am I still carrying that I no longer need to? And I want you to write those down. Write the answers that come. Don't try to edit. Just let it come out. Okay. Then the next question is, what am I being invited to surrender so I can step into the new foundation of the Virgo solar eclipse that's coming at the end of this month? Okay. What am I being invited to surrender? What do I need to let go of so that I can step into my new foundation that Virgo is going to show me at the end of this month, in the next 4 to 6 months? All right. So that's the journal. Then a quick ritual, quick steps to take, whatever you believe. This is a simple water release, right? So on a piece of paper, right, I want you to write What are you releasing? Whether it's a role or the illusion, the way that you thought you saw things, but you kind of knew that wasn't it, the lie that you've been telling yourself, the pattern that you want to let go of and realize you don't need to be doing that anymore, right? The attachment that you have with somebody, something, some place, some situation that you have not let go of, that you have been thinking over and over and over for about a decade. Okay. So I want you to write that down. These are the energies to help you do this. These energies that are going to be going on right here with this release, that will definitely help you. All you have to do is center and focus. Okay. Then I want you to, after you write it down on a piece of paper, I want you to put it in your bowl of water. Okay. But in the water, I want you to put salt. Okay. So it can dissolve in the salt water. Okay. Or if you like to, you can do a burning it, right? And then scatter the ashes into the water, but it needs to go into the water, okay? Because Pisces is water, and we need to let Pisces carry it away, okay? That's why these energies are here, the moon, the water, the North Node, okay? Now, this last one is just so that you can embody this, all right? So notice where you still choose to sacrifice over truth. Or notice where you put busyness over your peace, right? Each time you pause and breathe and choose clarity instead of chaos. Every time you do that, you are living this eclipse. When you are choosing to break the old patterns and making a different choice, even if it's the smallest one, and you pause and you consciously say, no, I am not doing this. I don't even need to do that anymore. I'm going to do this. Okay. When you do that, you're living this eclipse. Okay. And remember, this eclipse energy is not a one night event. It doesn't just happen one night. Okay. It unfolds over the next 4 to 6 months. So but this is important because what you release now is going to ripple through your choices and your relationships well into 2026. This is a process, not a deadline. Okay. So what I'd love for you to do is give yourself some grace. You give everybody else grace. Why don't you give it to yourself? Let the release be gentle. It doesn't have to be such a struggle and a pull and a traumatic event. Let it be gentle. Release. Okay. And let the new chapter unfold in its timing. All right, my beautiful ones. Thank you for hanging in there with me so far. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let me leave you with this. Beautiful ones, this Pisces lunar eclipse is not just another full moon. Okay? It is the middle chapter of a sacred trilogy that's rewriting your September. It's rewriting your year. And for many of us, it's even rewriting your life story. Okay, this is really, really important. So this new moon in Virgo that started the whole thing at 0 degrees on August 23rd, that planted the seed for a new order. Then this Pisces lunar eclipse on September 7th is the karmic doorway. It's destiny that's pulling you forward. And it's pulling you forward into compassion, into faith, and into surrender. And then by the end, the solar eclipse at Virgo at 29 degrees on September 21st, it will bring the closure, the final release of perfectionism and control so that a truer foundation can rise. Okay. And with Saturn retrograde at 29 degrees Pisces over here, we are not just closing a lunar cycle. Remember, we are closing a 30-year karmic chapter. Okay. The lessons that began in the mid 1990s have ripened. They're so ripe, they are done. Like they've already fallen off the tree. Okay. The cycle's complete. We need to let it go already. Enough. Okay. So what you no longer need to follow you forward. It's time to let it go. Okay. So this is the purge before the rebirth, though. Remember this. Okay. The karmic release before the new beginnings. And remember, eclipse energy unfolds over the next 4 to 6 months. So right now, what you surrender now will not ripple through, will ripple through your choices, through your relationships, and your path. And it's going to be happening all the way until early 2026. All right. While this is going on, the South Node right here is going to be the South Node in Virgo. It's going to be whispering, release the burdens of over control. You no longer have to control. You are powerful. You don't have to control. Okay. The North Node in Pisces, it promises your soul, it knows the way forward. Okay. So let this eclipse wash over you. Let the illusions dissolve. Let the story, that story that no longer fits, let it find its ending. Okay? Because what will remain after the letting go will be pure and whole and ready for the next chapter of your destiny. Okay? I'm Cindy, and it is my joy to walk with you through these universal and cosmic thresholds. Okay, stay close. Our next gathering will prepare you for the Virgo solar eclipse. All right. And if you missed the Virgo new moon, remember I put it on at the end. You can go back and watch at the beginning. You can go back and watch it, because together all these 3 videos that are going to be released by the 21st, they form a full map for your September. Okay. So until next time, beautiful ones, may you walk gently. May you remember deeply, and may you trust the soul's timing above all else.